This week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Ash will be here. So just hold on to your seats. There's no telling what kind of video you will or won't get.
Tell them what kind of show you will or won't get.
You can always listen at 95.9, Magic 95.9 FM. Victoria's Tejano leader, also home to the finest talk show in the region every morning from 7 to 8 a.m.
Michelle Hawkins checking in. Justin Glass, good morning. Matt Boucher.
With a disclaimer that it's the only talk show in the Crossroads.
Natalie Mayer, Clayton Held, good morning. Judge Posey, Sheriff Lauderback, Lacey Merriman, good morning. Joel Gomez. I'm assuming Joel's now recovered from his climb. So he's only had almost a week.
Probably has an IV drip in right now, laid up.
And the oxygen mask.
He's at the vacation station out there, number 4 for a while.
He's blowing at 200% oxygen, just trying to recoup the lungs. Scott Tomko, good morning. David Glass, Christina Wise, Mike Bloschke.
Hello, Michael.
BJ Nelson wishing you a happy anniversary.
Thank you.
If we did that, I would have been the first to wish you a happy anniversary.
We don't do that
stuff. Rob Moore Knipling, CW Bean, good morning. Joel Gomez says he's a little bit better. So how was the anniversary? Did you do anything special? Did you,
So now watch this. This is what being married 3 years will do for you.
Which anniversary is this?
3.
Yeah, but is it
just 3?
Paper?
3.
Don't know.
3. I mean, no clue.
Could there be a cheaper anniversary than paper?
3.
What does that mean? You just get a card?
The first one, paper.
I thought the first 8 million were paper.
Well,
it doesn't become significant until 25 and then 50.
I agree. I'll make 25. I'm not so sure about 50. That'll
be the shock in your obituary. Survived by his wife of 10 years.
And then 5 children. So I told T-Lat yesterday, I said, look, just come home from work. When you get off at VCS, come home and just be cute and be ready to go by 5:30. She had no idea where we were going. I did and made reservations at a place called Latitude 28. It's in Rockport. Very nice. If I can give you a report, it was very nice.
Good.
And I had made reservations. I get her in the car. We take off. I put on some Apple Music. We're visiting. She told me that one of the things she noticed about us over the last couple of years is I wasn't as spontaneous or full of surprises as I was when she met me. I said, do you have any idea where you're going right now? No. Did I just tell you this morning to be dressed and ready to go? Yes. I said, what kind of spontaneity do you want? You want me to give you a hot foot? You want me to put some matches down under your shoe and light them? What do you want?
You're that guy in the dugout.
I get no respect. No respect. We had a great time. And one of the great things is I can go off with just Dawn and sit and just visit with her, and we have a great time. Awesome. We had a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Jeff Fonseca says, nice choice, great food. She had what
was the name again?
It's called Latitude. I think in Rockport, they all just call it, let's go to Latitude.
Okay.
But it's Latitude. It's like you said there's no longitude, but it's 2802 inches or whatever.
Okay.
It was really, really good. I had the little steak Diane, little medallions, and she had pasta with mushrooms and black olives and chicken. It was really good.
Nice.
Because I had half of hers and all of mine. It ain't no Golden Corral. You get a plate and it's pretty. There's lots of room on it.
That's where you go on your 50th anniversary.
Right. Yeah, you get a puree. Give me the steak puree.
What would you like that puree with? Which vegetable would you like with your puree?
Oh,
green beans, squash, or broccoli?
Something bland.
Go easy on the salt and pepper.
I mean,
intestines can't take it.
I love our buddy Byron Burris, but I'm not running out to buy the Twin Pines cookbook. I don't want the Twin Pines cookbook.
Otherwise, you might end up like our next story.
Beans a la bland.
Something's leaking.
Yeah. Your anus is leaking.
Yeah.
Folks, I just write in the morning what Ash says.
Why? Oh,
and
yeah.
He said your anus is leaking. I said, well, I don't feel like it is, but I'll write it.
Yeah, I see that now.
Yeah,
I didn't look. I didn't look to
is
check your typing. I should have. But no, I was actually talking about the planet.
The planet.
NASA scientists and data have confirmed that something is leaking out of Uranus.
Wow, that's just not right.
There's no way you could get through that story
You
on
can't.
TV with a straight
No,
face.
Uranus has a leak. They go on to point out, though, that most of the planets have.
But none are named
escaping.
Uranus. That
No.
that headline doesn't pull you into the story.
Jupiter
If
is
it's a
leaking.
Jupiter,
It's boring.
Mars is leaking.
Right, Uranus.
Mercury is leaking. Mercury leaking might pull you in because you might think there's something
Gonna get
dangerous going on. But yeah, but Uranus is leaking,
Pretty
pulls
good.
you in.
Pretty good. The People magazine of radio shows.
And here's how on top of it the scientists were. They went back and revisited 3 decades old data from the Voyager 2 space probe.
Looking for a leaking anus.
And found out that something appeared to have been sucking Uranus's atmosphere out into space when the probe went by.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for breaking up that bit. Uranus.
There's no issues with the FCC on Uranus.
No, there's no. You can. Right. Nice. Where are you off to today? Are you on the way to Houston or here? Good. How do the roads look?
That's good.
Good.
Well, we appreciate you clearing up the Uranus debate.
But you know what? Uranus is not good radio. Uranus
Not at all.
is great radio.
If they just had a giant space depend, it is.
That's what Joe Biden will strap a big depend around Uranus. All right, be safe out there.
We appreciate you having our backside. Thanks.
Bye, brother.
Bye.
Nice. That's James Kerr. What Jeff Fonseca asked if I went to Ramsey's for my honeymoon getaway. That'll be what. At 50 years married, that's what you do. You read Tuesday's paper. America wants video at 5. Yeah, it's true.
So sad details coming out on a deadly accident. State Highway 185.
Yeah, Bloomington Highway.
Mother was traveling with a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. The mother's vehicle left the roadway, traveled across the northbound lanes, and then rolled. Mother and the 1-year-old were ejected from the vehicle. The mom and the daughter were transported as citizens. The 3-year-old daughter was pronounced dead on arrival. The son has been airlifted to Texas Children's. Mom and son both in stable condition. Nobody was wearing a seatbelt. Car seats were found at the scene, and the kids were not secured in the car seats.
So as soon as she's well, she should be charged with manslaughter against her kid. I don't know her name. I'm not, hating any individual. It should be, if it's not punishable. For a little kid that can't take care of itself, you got to buckle your kids up.
Yeah.
It always just triggers me when
and you hate to be make an example of, but
no,
boy, you've got to send a message here.
When you're driving along and you see those kids jumping up and down the seat, those days are over, man. Those days are over. You can't do that anymore.
No, gone are the days of this was the seatbelt when mom slammed on the brakes, right?
While dad had an open container of beer in the car because it was all legal back then.
Yeah.
It's just not anymore.
Well, for you, dad would pull the handbrake with the left hand out the door.
Yeah. She's not good.
Absolutely tragic. And like Matt says, and preventable. Absolutely.
Well said,
for everybody. Mom would have had her seatbelt on.
She'd still have a daughter.
So, man, sad. But
the truth is, you're going to find out later, the reason she went off the road is she was saying, "You kids sit down." You watch. They were fighting in the back seat or something.
A 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Could have happened.
3-year-old might have been running around a little bit.
Sit down.
I mean, think about 1-year-old. You're barely walking.
Well, I was doing 10Ks by then, but I was special.
You were. Oh, man.
Yeah, you hate to see it. It's terrible stuff.
It really is. Aftermath of Hurricane Sally. Now it's sort of meandering through the Appalachian region or heading that way.
You know, you're rushing through this content.
No, not really. What else do you say on that?
I don't know.
You know, I mean,
it's got Glenn Beck would go back and say, "I'm telling you, you got to buckle up your kids."
You already did that.
I know. It's true though.
Matt Ogre says, reminiscent of those that leave their children in a hot car. I just can't imagine. Yeah,
right.
No, absolutely. I don't know if it was the COVID this year, but I don't recall any of those incidents.
We haven't,
this year.
We haven't had any happen that I've heard of. We usually hear of them.
A couple of pets in cars in Victoria over the summer, but no kids this year.
So question.
But we did have a rash of cars into buildings, so that may have made up for it.
So you're a pet guy.
Yes.
Huge pet guy. Obviously, you're walking through a parking lot. It's hot. You see a child asleep in the back of a car that's not running. Windows are up. You're going to break the window. You see a dog in there, you breaking the window?
Depends. If I see the dogs in a lot of distress, I'm probably calling the cops for sure.
Okay. I just always wonder what the right thing to do is. You're walking through.
To be honest, I'm probably calling the cops in both situations to let them know I am breaking the window because of the situation.
There you go. That's probably the right thing to do.
That's probably what I'm doing. I would like to think that's what I do, but you get in that situation, your adrenaline sort of kicks up. I don't know. I might not call 911. I might just break the window.
Yeah. I just wonder. I mean, it happens so quickly. The car can get 130, 140 degrees super quick.
Very quick.
Yep.
Joe Mitchell, U.S. Open teeing off. Yep.
Joe, give us 3 potential champions.
I think you got it. I mean, Dustin Johnson's got to be on the top of the list. He just won the Tour Championship.
Yeah, what's the other kid's name?
FedEx playoffs or whatever.
Won recently. Jim. So there's another Johnson. Johnston. I don't know. And then that Scotty, what's his name? Roy McIlroy. El Tigre. They're playing.
Time of year is weird.
Wingfoot has lots and lots of rough, I think.
No, it's kind of the way they usually set the U.S. Open up these days. Marvin Maker says windows can be replaced, lives can't. Good call. Kelly Ferrami says they say to put something important in your back seat, and I get where she's going with this, so that you won't forget
the kid. Yeah, something.
The kid, something
like the kid's
like
not important.
Yeah, like there's something more important that you could put in your back seat than your kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Raised 2 of them, never once walked away from the car without him.
Yep. Me either.
Funny how I asked if we carry around a lock picking door jimmy kit with you all the time.
No, but there's always something.
I have the lock gun. That's what I used. I use John. It's easier.
Peter McNally says Tiger Woods and Dennis Johnson will get the not Dennis. Dustin Johnson will get the looks. Webb Simpson, good call. Patrick Reed
and Dustin Johnson. Those are Joe Mitchell's trifecta.
Has there ever been a player less marketable than Patrick Reed? He's a Georgia product.
Probably not.
I think Dustin Johnson was dating his wife.
I think you're right.
Nice. How about if they're paired
Webb Simpson? Webb Simpson gets confused for the Underling Tour every once in a while. The Webb Simpson Tour.
How about if Dustin Johnson and Patrick Reed are paired together on Sunday, and Patrick Reed makes a 3-footer and bashes Dustin Johnson in the forehead with his putter?
That'd be interesting.
Be nice to throw down.
Peter McNally says Tiger and DJ will get the viewers.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and Dustin is not. I don't see how Dustin Johnson pulls in the viewers. Honestly, there's nothing about him.
Cocaine, girls.
That's
philandering.
well, but none of that appears on the golf course.
No, but that's what he's known for.
And he's not even as dramatic the way he plays like Tiger was. And
He's
Tiger
not
still
the
is.
sharpest tool in the
No,
shed.
he's not.
When they talk to him afterwards, so Dustin, walk us through that birdie. 1, 2, 3, we're in the hole. I mean, it's like talking to a rock. You're like, hey, Patrick. It's like watching SpongeBob. It's like interviewing Dustin Johnson.
I hit 2 shots and made the putt.
Yep, pretty good. Pretty good. Steve Kidder says, I just break the window on any Mercedes. Well done.
He said, I walked away, but they followed me. Dad.
Clint Ives says his would have just driven off with the vehicle.
Yeah, there you go.
Fonseca says people can't stand Patrick Reed.
I don't know.
I heard he's very difficult.
Yeah, except for even his own wife.
BJ wants to know if Dawn's coming in to host with me. Not a chance. She wouldn't do it. I'd love to have her do it, but
you want to see the 4th year of your marriage.
Right? Dustin's seen a lot of wives, Joe Mitchell says. Oops. Wow. BJ says we can talk about interesting things finally. I think she stole a little pun in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Allen's Record Service, 578-6300. Call Allen's if your car won't go. If you need a tow. Big rig, little car, doesn't matter. Allen will come get it. 578-6300. He's absolutely the best, the gold standard in this region, as is the VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer, all part of the Hartman Communication Empire. They are our banner sponsor. We're in VCS 1, Studio 1, wherever Ash and I are. That's VCS 1.
They've got great discounts right now for first responders, teachers. So stop on by the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer. And
measure temperatures at a big event. They've got that equipment. They can do it all. Give them a call. Surround sound, surveillance, suppression, fire suppression. They've got it all at the VCS companies. Chesnick Furniture Company, for 100 years in downtown Victoria, Bobby Leon and his family have been providing great deals on furniture, appliances, bedding. They now have Tempur-Pedic bedding.
Accoutrement.
And 50% off on all furniture, celebrating 100
I'm going to have to
years.
figure out a product so that could be the product name.
We're going to bounce one up today and tell you about USA Concrete Coatings. Ash was looking today. They can do walkways. They can do
pool surrounds. They can do.
If your cool deck is looking kind of tired, get a hold of USA Foundation and USA Concrete Coatings.
You've got a commercial building with concrete side or cement hallways. They can coat those on the inside, make them look really nice, slip resistant, won't crack, won't peel.
Antibacterial, antimicrobial,
and most jobs they can do in one day.
Absolutely. 578 Home. That's the number for them. Yeah. 578 Home.
And don't forget, stop by any of the Cimarron stores in town and pick up your raffle tickets for the Blue Bonnet Youth Ranch. Absolutely phenomenal service that they've been providing for about 50 years in this region, maybe a little bit longer.
Every dollar directly back to the kids.
Yeah, all the money raised from this raffle goes into the clothes, the school supplies, the food, everything they need to provide kids as stable a home environment as they can. What I really like is they provide the structure and the loving environment these kids have been lacking. They have to do chores. They have to be involved in extracurricular activities. And they have to do well in school, or the extracurricular activities go away. They hold them accountable for their decisions and the actions and reactions to the decisions. It's a phenomenal place.
It's a great place, and it clearly works. Every year we meet more and more people from there who have gone on to do great things.
And that's why it's so important to me is over the years, 600 kids have gone through there, and they've produced 600 absolutely phenomenal citizens.
Absolutely.
So stop by and get your tickets to support the Blue Bonnet Youth Ranch. Zach Smith checking in. I see he won a big award from, was it Fannie Mae, I think, for helping
put out a bunch of mortgages.
Well, but helping those who may not qualify for a traditional mortgage become homeowners. So
good job.
Good for you, Zach, helping people achieve the American dream.
Then there's Bunket Trey Mooney.
Bunket Trey checking in. Joe Mitchell says, support the ranch of the kids. We agree.
Yep.
BJ Nelson asks us if Joe has tickets at the golf shop. Zach Smith says, thanks, BJ. Freddie Mac. I think I said Fannie Mae.
There you go.
Close.
It's his slutty sister.
Yeah. The Rise Awards. He's explaining it now because he was asked. He won a National Rise Award for originating loans with the Home Possible program for low to moderate income people. RISE stands for Recognizing Individuals for Sustained Excellence.
Hey, good job, Zach.
Victoria Dixon on the Mac. Well done, man. Well done. Good job. So I wanted to.
You get one of those applause things?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I think that'd be appropriate.
Oh, it would be more than appropriate. Standing oath.
There you go.
That's more applause than Joe got the other day when he was playing his Despacito.
I'm waving at the people in the showroom out there. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming.
That's
I
what
wonder if Joe spoke to him. He had a mask on. You can't be sure if he spoke to him. He may have just waved.
I saw him speaking the other day. He was the only one in the camera shot, and he had his mask on. I think there was an audience well behind the camera somewhere. And he had his mask on still, which I'm convinced is because, well, not in this case. I saw a video and it was hard to exactly, but I was absolutely convinced because if you're wearing a mask, you can still see your jaw moving and stuff, right?
Like a little speaker there.
No, but the audio, Joe was supposedly saying some things and there was no movement. Either he's a very good ventriloquist.
Right. It was just a tape.
That's what I'm thinking. It was pre-planned because then yesterday I saw a video of Joe with a mask on and his mouth is moving and his sentence was absolutely incoherent. Either the mask was muffling it or he just didn't have a clue what he was talking about.
The dim strategy is if you're totally incoherent, no one can accuse you of lying. That's the deal.
There is that. But I do want to play this. I want to get to Michael Cloud in the House yesterday.
Yeah, this is kind of exciting.
Talking about law enforcement. So I'll let this play and then we'll discuss it a little bit because I think it's a pretty poignant observation by a guy who's Congressman Cloud, who's only been there a couple of years, but boy, his poise and the respect he's quickly earning in Washington is something that usually doesn't happen so quickly. So let me play this.
Who would have thought that today we'd be here discussing this topic? When I ran for office, when I stood in this room for the first time and took the oath of office to defend the Constitution, I expected that we'd have many discussions on this floor with deeply held opposing views on the many issues facing our nation. I did not expect that one of those issues would be whether the lawmaking body of our nation, expects the laws to be followed, or whether or not we support the brave men and women tasked with enforcing that law. Policing is a noble and necessary profession of any civil society, a profession which, by and large, is full of dedicated, courageous citizens who've chosen to serve their community, often putting aside higher-paying professions to work in one of the most difficult, challenging jobs, daily prioritizing public safety over their own. It is for these families for whom the greatest sound one hears is the sound of Velcro at the end of each shift as their loved one removes their body armor and takes up their other most important duty of being a mom, dad, brother, or sister. For too many of our law enforcement officers' families, because of the violence against police, they are now denied the joy of that moment. Each day we see images of organized, armed riots, embracing lawsuits, destroying property, sowing hate, and instilling fear, all in order to advance a political agenda. The barrage of destruction of balance in major American cities is almost nonstop. The rioters across the nation have cost over $1 billion in damages and claimed numerous lives. In one of the latest acts of horrific violence, 2 Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies were shot and critically injured as they sat in their patrol car at a metro rail station Saturday evening. Protesters gathered outside the hospital where the deputies receiving treatment, some chanting death to police, kill the police. This is shameful and cannot be tolerated.
100%. 100% agree with that.
And here's where it's starting to even slide down a slipperier slope. They block the path of first responders.
See, now if that person that they're going to get dies, those people are all accessories to murder or manslaughter, to me.
And so now they're starting to impact the lives of others. The EMTs that responded, the fire personnel that responded. That's where this is, and you don't have a nation if you don't have laws. And I'm not backing the few police officers.
No, you have to get rid of the bad apples, but you still got to keep the orchard. Okay, you can't throw out the chaos of lawlessness would just be. I mean, look at the Chad, or what do they call that garbage in Seattle? That's just dumb. Why couldn't this group of peaceful protesters just go down and occupy that area without defacing everything, without spray painting it, breaking glass and all that?
You can't really occupy anything that isn't yours without a show of force of some sort, right?
I guess, but I mean, do you just have to destroy it? Why can't you just cordon off an area and say, we're going to hold this ground? I don't know.
I don't know either. BGNL says we need to find a way to pay teachers, police, and fire people more money. Well, the only way to do that is to raise your taxes or cut spending somewhere else.
Right. And what I agree about you saying that, BJ, is you're right, because over the long haul, let's just put it this way. When I got to college, I knew I wanted to do well. I knew I wanted to make a good living. And as a result, being a school teacher never crossed my mind, ever. So on one hand, and too many people say, well, it's a labor of love. And the fact that it's a labor of love, then in some cases you get people that, either not fully motivated or they're not. Again, most of our teachers, not a slam on school teachers, they're all great people. But if you doubled the pay of school teachers, you'd have better school teachers, period. Not because those same people would be teachers, but because better qualified people would go into teaching. It's just a natural fact. If teachers made $1 million a year, you'd have some geniuses being teachers.
Maybe.
And you have some now. I could cut social services in a heartbeat. Yes. We're going to take you off welfare, pay the teacher more, go learn something and make your own money. I like that. I agree with that. Sheriff Louderback said, good job by the congressman.
Can hear the emotion in his voice for sure.
Yeah, he's a very sincere. Michael Cloud's as sincere an individual as you'll ever meet.
But Steve Kidder says, but BLM has reversed the paradigm. Well, and we've mentioned that a lot. I mean, we're now at a point where right is wrong, wrong is right. And the lines are continually being blurred all the time. But is it just, and you hear the fear mongering that if Biden's elected, this is going to be the norm.
Yeah.
But to me, it starts with something even more simple. Laws that aren't typically violent or can perpetrate violence, but we've got a country that doesn't even want to enforce any of the laws on our books when it comes to our immigration and national security. And now this is just a natural progression into not caring about any laws. Yet the irony of it, these same people cordon off areas and have erected their own borders,
right?
So that you can't get in if you're not one of them.
Right. But if you're an American, you should just let everybody in. Above that, even there was one where Steve Kidder finished his thought. Biden comes, so the BLM says all cops are bad and racist. Biden comes out and says some are good. He's worshiping at the woke altar. Yeah.
Greg Garcia, there's also a lot of indoctrination going on in schools. He actually saw a teacher taking a training course about how to teach social justice to elementary school children.
Yeah, I told you I saw a sign. It was a rainbow colored sign, and it basically said something along the lines of it included comments like a woman's body a woman makes decisions about her body, all this stuff. And this was in elementary school, and I thought that's it's a little too much information for these kids.
Well, they often say hatred is taught, right?
Right.
Kids at that age don't know anything other than you're my friend in my class, let's play.
No, that's right.
We start teaching them all these things that divide them because of what we're teaching them, regardless of what it is. Think about back to your age. Everybody on the block played together.
No, that's
It didn't
right.
matter.
I've said it for years. We didn't know to be racist. I grew up down the street from the Hernandez family. If I wouldn't have had those, 4 brothers, we couldn't have played baseball.
There's a lot of kids on my street that grew up that probably wouldn't have had 3 meals a day if not for all the cooking Tina and Wally
Yep.
did.
That's exactly right.
HR Mallory asking if we were able to check out the video of the congressman from Memphis calling out the lawlessness. Yeah, I did see that. And is that if that's the same gentleman, I believe, that was then kicked out of the Democrat Party, and they tried to time it so that he wouldn't be able to be on the ballot in November, but
Right.
the courts got involved because he would have had to then become an independent, and they would have missed the deadline for him to be on the ballot as an independent. He's represented the district for years. He also happens to be a preacher, which is probably part of the reason why the Dems kicked him out as well. But I think this is the same guy. But the courts had to get involved and rule that because of the timing and the shenanigans and the chicanery going on, that is, he was able. Like I read the thesaurus this morning.
It's a travesty. It's a sham. It's a mockery. It's a Travis mockery.
But because of the timing of it all, his name is able to be on the ballot as an independent. I think that's the same gentleman.
Interesting. Chicanery.
Yeah. And yet they'll claim there's no politics in any of these, right? Well, it's not politics. We don't want them in a
See,
party.
Richard King makes a great point. People don't realize how much firefighters, policemen, teachers, they love doing their job. Yep.
Christina Wise says, just makes me sad. My love and pride for this country still gives me hope that somehow the current situation will not become the norm.
Well, the Democrats are claiming that Trump's trying to be like Hitler and rise from the ashes and restore, national pride, and that he's going to take over and he's never going to leave office and he's going to use the military to keep his position. Basically, it's lunacy, and there's never been a non-peaceful transition of power in this country.
No, and the irony is, anytime they point to something that they say is going to happen, when the facts all come out,
They're the ones
that have done it. So
yeah.
My guess is the ones that won't go quietly will be the Biden camp when they lose the election, and once again, like Hillary, will not accept the results of it.
Or they'll be like Bill and Hillary and steal everything in the White House on their way out.
Imagine that.
Think about that.
That idiot Sawant, the Seattle council member, who I guess a court ruled that she could be recalled because they had some serious charges against her. And one of the panel that reviews it, I don't know if it was an actual court, but when they reviewed the recall, 4 of the 6 charges against her, they said warranted, if not misfeasance, malfeasance, or basically dereliction of duty. And they said that when she allowed all the protesters into City Hall, that was basically a dereliction of her duty.
What's her name?
Sawant's her last name. I call her idiot. Just a play on words.
Sawant, I thought, is it like Rain Man?
So my little play on words
like
for her. I do too. But and even the mayor, who I don't agree with in Seattle, apparently when she was a prosecutor or something, she had a court order that you could not protest around her house because of stuff she was doing. I'm assuming she probably ticked off some criminals, so she might have been a decent prosecutor. I don't know.
Right.
But apparently that order has not been lifted, and idiot Sawant went and took a bunch of protesters to her house to protest in violation of that order.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So you've got a city council. And here's the problem. It goes back to the voters. This is who the voters of that district of Seattle want to represent them. They're as off kilter as anybody else in that city.
Yeah, that place is a mess.
But at least it looks like they're getting it right, and the voters have finally stood up, those that don't agree with her being in office and the actions she's taken, and at least they're getting a little bit of traction, but we'll see how it plays out in Seattle. But
I always feel good about living in Texas. At least if you live in Texas, you've got a chance. You know,
yeah.
We might have problems, but we've got a chance.
You got a chance to get to Veracruz today. You're going to miss Caldo Wednesday by a day.
Nice segue.
But have no fear. I had the Carnegie salad yesterday.
Did you? Did you take Cheryl?
No, I went with a friend. We had lunch, and he had the Caldo de Res. He went for Caldo Wednesday.
Good deal. Veracruz, man. It's all the little things. It's the crispy chips. They're hot. It's the hot sauce, the salsa. The queso is great. They've got secrets for all of this. The guacamole is creamy. The tortillas are perfect.
Fluffy.
It is just for the aficionado. For those in the know, it's just the best Mexican food in town. Get to Veracruz. Do it today. We talked about Razor IT Solutions yesterday. JP Hull and his group can do great things for your company with your analytics, help you understand who's hitting your website, can help you protect your business with encryption.
They could probably explain it a little more in detail next week because he's going to join you, right?
JP's going to come in and help guest host one day. He'll be great. He's always funny. He always brings like a bunch of humiliating and humbling trivia about UT football. So I'll say, so how's your family? Good. Did you know that Texas lost to Oklahoma 4 out of the last 6 years? I mean, that's kind of how the conversation goes. Yeah, I did. I knew that. How's Harper and Kevin? My children are fine. Thanks. Did you know that Texas lost a bowl game in each of the last? He's just brutal. It's brutal. But he'll be fun. We won't talk sports the whole time because he's got a ton of interesting stuff going on. He's going to explain to you why Oracle wants TikTok. Things like that. What TikTok's really doing behind the scenes. Stuff like that. He knows it. The Atzenhofer dealership since 1926. Quite simply, Victoria's car dealership. Others come and go. Not Atzenhofer.
No, that big A has been on the Vero forever. Since 1926. Chevrolet.
AOK used car.
Cadillac, Mitsubishi, Mazda.
Now they're pre-owned. Most of them still have warranties. They used to be used.
Yeah.
Now they're pre-owned.
That shows your age. You still remember the AOK signs on the dealers.
Right.
So do I.
Yeah, exactly. Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, all the pre-owned vehicles, paint and body shop, service, all makes and models. You got a Buick, take it over there. They'll fix it.
That was when marketing was so much simpler. You saw AOK, you knew it was going to be a good used car. Now they've got to call it certified.
Certified pre-owned. Yeah.
Can't call them used anymore.
You can apply that to women. Just
certified pre-owned?
We'll let that go. Low mileage, one owner.
Certifiable.
Right. White Trash Services, BJ Nelson, Scott Nelson, and the family, 550-1826. Six counties.
All your trash collection needs.
Holiday Beach,
Rockport,
Disney World.
When you were down at the local burger joint last night, did you just take your bag and throw it in the white trash receptacle?
Right in the receptacle out back. Absolutely. They have taken over Rockport.
Peacefully.
Yeah.
They haven't
protest.
No, they didn't erect a trash zone.
No.
Or a white trash zone.
550-1826, folks. You need a dumpster for a big project, reach out. Our friends at Compadres Design do all of our swag, banners, and all that. They do it when they feel like it. They're not in a hurry for us. But we're working with them. Trying to get some stuff. I'm going to call them today.
Pay the bills.
I'm going to call them today and say, hey, can you throw in a couple of long sleeve shirts now that we've drifted into fall? See what I can do there for the team.
Steve Kidder says he played with all the kids on the block except for the Canadians.
Yeah. We don't want the Irish. Remember that from the Blazing Saddles. Call Dwayne Proctor at GDP Text if your laptop doesn't work. 550-4744.
Greg Garcia says getting kicked out of the Democratic Party is like getting an early release from a prison sentence.
Right? They're kicking you out of church. You're just too close to Jesus. You're out.
Well, because all he says he wants that guy from yesterday to call Indiana. Maybe he won't hang up this time.
Well, I mean, he was a nice gentleman, you know, and I wanted him to stay around too, but it's kind of like, okay, well, if you're going to speak in extremes, he always lies. He never does what he says. Well, give me an example. Tell me something Joe Biden's done for anybody ever. Did Joe Biden do this country a favor with the quid pro quo over Ukraine? No, I say no.
Do this country a favor when his son walked away from China with $1.5 billion for an equity firm?
Yeah.
With no experience running equity firms?
Steve Kidder says the Clintons were broke when they left the White House. It was just a big old yard sale.
Kind of was.
That's pretty funny.
Got some nice china here for sale.
Yep.
Christina Weiss says, how can an attack from a foreign enemy bring us together, stand up and declare this pride for the U.S., and an attack from domestic enemies have the opposite result?
Yeah, it's crazy. People that
because the politics in this one aren't aligning. The Dems they're willing to do anything they need to do to gain power. It's about power and control and having the privilege and prestige that goes with that. It's not about law and order. It's not about doing right for the country. It's not about trying to get the country on the right path. It's about gaining control and power because that's all that fuels them right now.
And one way you know it's just politics is when somebody says, you know, Black Lives Matter. Because you can't be against that, right? Because if you're against that, you're racist. If you go, well, all lives matter. Brown lives matter. White lives matter. All lives matter.
As the PSA says, Tejano lives matter too.
Right. Then you know what? Then when they go, no, you're a racist. You're missing the point. You've got white privilege. That's how you know it's just a political narrative. That's how you know that they can take something and it can be anarchy under a tent, and they'll say, oh, look, it's a circus. Because everybody likes a circus. But when it's legitimately anarchy under a tent, nobody likes it when you call it what it really is. BLM is nothing more than an extension of Marxist propaganda. That's what it is.
You look at their founders, and they're bold and upfront about it. And what happens with Marxism and communism? The ruling elite becomes the elite class, and everybody else is a peon that gets handed out the bread and cheese.
Here's something interesting Steve Kidder pointed out, and it's got two layers to it that I can think of already. He says charges have been upgraded on the Minneapolis police officer, Chauvin, in the George Floyd case from third degree to second degree murder. And everybody's like, yeah, that's good. Put it to him. The problem is it practically guarantees his acquittal because Ellison's not going to be able to prove the higher charge. It's just virtue signaling. What's going to happen then? Chauvin's going to walk because he's not guilty of second-degree murder. He might be guilty of third-degree murder. You know,
which I think is equivalent to manslaughter in Minnesota, right?
Right. But when he walks, because if you charge him with first-degree murder and try to claim that it was premeditated and he went there to kill George Floyd, your burden of proof goes way up. So the reality is when they can't prove their case, and he walks out a free man, what's going to happen?
And when the autopsy shows he had enough fentanyl in his system to probably kill a Clydesdale.
Nobody's going to blame the dead guy, and you're going to have riots again. And you're going to have riots again.
Or still.
Steve Kidder says Black Lives Matter can mean whatever you say it means. And that was my whole issue, Steve, with the NBA. I'm like, the National Basketball Association should not have gotten involved in this. I'm not saying that if you're a corporate or your sports, you shouldn't have a political opinion. I'm saying you need to know what you're putting on your floor. Black Lives Matter. Why don't you just put Marx was right? Just put it out there. Then you got guys like LeBron James feeling sorry for Jacob Blake. Oh, well, you know, he was a domestic violence guy. He was a rapist. He's under indictment. He's violating a restraining order. But, hey, he's a black guy that got shot by the popo, so he's got to be a good guy. Interesting stuff.
Well, because it goes back to the narrative that lawlessness is okay.
What?
Uh-oh.
What? You know, Joe Biden was here. Joe Biden, would go, hey, how you doing out there, guys? Good to see you, Joe Biden.
This is the guy you want right
I'm
here.
running for Senate.
He's holding me hostage
They
here.
don't appear to have anything that looks like a warrant, nor do they're not serving anybody. I feel good. I feel good today.
Well, they came in with a brother man, so that disarms them automatically, at least from our
You never know.
perspective.
He may be the lead negotiator. Maybe he's just trying to get us to turn ourselves in peacefully.
Maybe so.
Here we are peacefully protesting in here. Should we break something? Would it help if we broke something?
Might cause
Maybe
diversion,
come
so we
in
can
and-
run.
What we'll do is we'll put up the old banner and then we'll come in and spray paint on it. That'll be our protest.
What are we going to spray paint on it?
Well, we could put on there Uncle Mutt's Barbecue, open about 11.
That's what I was thinking.
That'd be a
We're
good
on
one.
the same page
That
there.
would be a peaceful protest.
That would be.
Get by today, folks. They're open 7 days a week, but today's a great day to go by and get brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, turkey. Financing's available. Go by.
They don't need financing.
Yeah, you might. Beef's got.
They'll give you to
expensive.
8 o'clock every day to pay it.
Yeah, it's not Jonathan's fault. Beef's just got expensive. But they've got specials every day.
Chicken, get the ribs.
And they got the best tea in the country. The world.
Now I'm hungry.
Maybe that's iced tea leaking out of your anus. I don't know. Get by there today.
Uncle Mutt's might be doing the cooking tonight.
They'll take care of you. We talked about USA, but let's talk about wind services, wind generators.
When
Wind
electric,
solar
when
panels.
plumbing, whatever you need.
You're
They
doing a
got
remodel, you're doing an add-on. They can come out and drop power down where you need it. They can solve your electrical problems. You maybe need a bigger breaker for something you put on in your shop. Reach out to Went. If it's electric and you need it to work right, Went is perfect. Solar panels feeding into a battery backup to help you if you're off the grid. How many people were out of power, Hurricane Sally?
over 500,000.
Yeah, well,
One death in Alabama.
the next time it happens here, you be the guy that's got power. Call Went, get you a generator, make it happen.
I checked on our buddy Nick Stewart. He says he's okay. They got about 4 months of rain worth of rain in a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. But he says all is good where he is, so that's good.
Be sure and reach out to Cheryl at Gray Barn Design, 920-6803, 920-6803.
For all your event design needs,
Her old number of 865-309.
8675309.
It's not
doesn't
there
work
anymore.
anymore.
She got rid of that when she married Ash.
But changed her name from Jenny too.
Right. Jim and Jenny.
But for all your event design needs, Cheryl's the one to call.
Right.
And you can rest easy. I'm no longer allowed to carry the bouquets.
She can channel her inner Jenny to do that. I don't know. What kind of party you want? I want a really dark theme. Okay. She can do it all.
She can do it all. We've over the years we've had themed New Year's parties. We had like an 80s party. She did it up right, so she knows what she's doing. And
BJ
loves to do
Nelson
it.
says, do you know about the gift cards in Uncle Mutt's? I've had them for years. Best soft drinks in town. So how about that? I didn't know that. Pull through and say, I want a gift card and give it to a friend.
There you go.
It's a good idea.
Pay it forward. Buy the meal of the person behind you.
There you go. Folks, we're glad to be here. Look, it's about 10 minutes to the top of the hour.
So Big Ten football is going to return.
We're going to have to rescue those officers from Brother Gary.
Big Ten football is going to return, which I thought was interesting, and goes back to some things I said early on that I think the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are making mistakes by coming out last spring and saying, well, we're not going to play football, or at least it seemed like last spring. And now the Big Ten's trying to walk it back. And in the wake of that news yesterday, the Pac-12 said, well, maybe we could change things up and start playing football.
The Pac-12 got their feelings hurt because they were going to be the lone man out.
They were.
Hundreds of millions of dollars at stake.
Well, and how much do you think is it a result of the fact that, like, all of a sudden programs like Appalachian State and Marshall are being talked about because they won big games this opening weekend, as opposed to,
Being out.
UCLA or USC or Penn State.
BJ clarified that drink cards, not gift cards, in Uncle Mutt. She's going to give us content. It's got to be, right.
Accurate.
Goodness.
This ain't CNN fake news.
Right? But, we admit it. Hey, we made a mistake there. It's not gift cards, although they may have a gift card, but they have drink cards.
Jeff Fonseca says a lifetime T card. Is that a
That'd be
real
nice.
thing, or is that just
It'd be
is he
great to
wishing?
have. It'd
Is
be
he
great to
wishing?
have.
So what do you think? What do you think of that?
Which one?
The Big Ten.
Well, I think they're late to the game, and the problem is that originally people were saying, well, they're not going to be in the championship playoff. But now, I mean, if they get in a hurry and get their games caught up, I think you got to consider.
Did they postpone the playoffs? Honestly, I don't know. The news has been so confusing. I'm not sure.
Greg Garcia says hindsight's 20/20, or if you're Cam Newton, it's 50-50. That's a good point.
Very. Boy, there's a guy.
Hindsight's 50-50. I like that.
There's a guy who resurrected his career in one game, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he was on a downward slide at 26 years old or whatever.
They're like, hey, he can run.
Can't play anymore.
How many years has he played though? Like 10? He's probably 32.
Yeah. I know Jeff Fonseca says the playoffs are on. I know they're on, but did they move them? I guess that's my question. I probably can Google it and find out later today.
I don't know.
Yeah. BJ Nelson says those drink cards are great stocking stuffers at Christmas.
You think she's getting a cut of that or what?
Either that or that's all she got for Christmas were a bunch of drink cards and she's still cashing them in.
Look, kids, everybody's getting them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Give me $100 for the drink cards. That's all my kids are getting for Christmas.
So the Fed's going to hold interest rates at pretty much 0% the next till 2023. It's going to be good news for Zach Smith and the mortgage industry, maybe.
I think so. And I just have to wonder how much they can actually do that. What if we have huge inflation? Are they going to be able to, well, we changed our minds. I don't know. I don't know enough about that side of it.
Well, and we talked about that Yelp survey a couple months back. A new one's out showed that 60% of the businesses that have closed because of COVID, permanent closures, according to Yelp data. It's not good.
Let's Are we going to let the brother man come in?
Yeah, we got to let the brother man in.
He just has a little bit. Do we need to let those guys get in? I mean, if they've got something they want to share with our listeners, they can do it.
We'll do that on another time.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right. Let's bring
I think
brother
Brother
man
Gary's protecting content.
Yeah, he is.
He's on next with the Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar.
He's getting very territorial, but
well, yeah.
Just,
anyway, we'll explain. The guys are good, but they're going to something a little later.
Brother Gary's clinging to the breaking news, the exclusive. He as broken on Wade and Carter,
I'm saving them.
Right? As broken on Ralph and the Brother. Stay tuned after this Magic 95.9 because Ralph and the Brother Man are going to have breaking news allegedly.
Ralph and the Hall of Famer.
The Hall of Famer's coming. I saw him driving up with both the boys, and they got a little something, but it's nothing major. But we'll get them back in a little later on.
That's called a cliffhanger. That's how you keep listeners around.
Listen, I know I'll be listening.
I got some good news for Ash first, and
tell us.
We're going to go fishing and football.
Perfect.
All right. Well, let's start with this. Probably wouldn't have had enough time to do both.
Just play football with a fish. That would make it interesting.
Brotherman's got it.
Ash, I drove up and I stopped where the shed was. Right over here. We have a little dog out there, ladies and gentlemen. We're taking care of. I stopped my car. The dog came out. I stopped. I had a bag of food, so I put that food out there on the sidewalk. And I put a nice little amount, not a whole lot. I wasn't sure if it came up to it. I barely turned around. It was gone.
Ate it all.
So I'm going to put the rest of that bag when I go back out of here. And that dog was taking care of business.
There you go.
Very hungry. So more food's coming that way.
I don't know. Everybody's feeding that dog.
Well, it ain't like it was nothing. They lapped it up.
Dogs will do.
Well, it does.
Good food. You got to good food.
Anyway, worried about that dog. A place from the Dorothy County Pet Adoption Center also. Shelter kittens. They got a batch of them. They're in need, boys, of cat litter, laundry pods, and Dawn dish soap. And they want you to drop it off the front porch during business hours. So if you want to help out, we got
cats are popping Tide Pods these days.
I was gonna say, if I go out there and find out that the Dorothy's feeding them cats pods, that's bad stuff,
man.
Ain't happening.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they're there. We got to help this little bunch. Two quick events right here. Trinity Lutheran Church. Talked to Mr. Wayne Dearland, and he said, "Brother, could you put it on? Luther Fest is this Sunday at the church, 10:30 to 1. Drive-through barbecue chicken, benefiting church and their charities."
Very nice.
And then the other one's KC Council over at KC Hall, 1329. That council barbecue pork steak plates. How about this one, guys? fundraising from 10 to 1 at KC Hall, benefiting the KC's charities. So there's a couple right there. Good stuff.
Adam Sugar says, ask the brother man about his new cologne. Mystic Moses.
Yeah. Adam, I love that boy. If you ever get into a tussle, you want Adam.
Call Adam. Yeah.
You want him back in there. Just step
You
aside.
don't necessarily want him on the bump at your softball
No,
game.
apparently
but
not.
I heard about that. But
He
I'll tell
might
you
be a
right
better
now,
first baseman. It's like
Step-
catch the ball.
Step aside.
Yeah.
And let him take care of it.
Absolutely.
Step aside. Love your son. Love all of you.
He's a good one.
All right, I got fishing. You want fishing or football first?
Fishing.
Fishing.
Go fishing. All right. This-
Fishing for $200.
Yeah, here we go. Guinness Book of World Records.
Daily double.
What is
The Guinness Book? Yeah, right here. All right, because I'm gonna ask
What
you
is the
one.
Guinness Book of World Record holder for fish?
Most fish caught in one day in a 24-hour span. Now, this man who broke the record was in Peoria, Illinois. Jeff Kolodzinski. They call him the Marathon Man. He's a professional
one of the
fisher.
skis?
He started last Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, finished the next day on Thursday, 9 o'clock the next day, 24 hours. Now, he was set up in a resort right by the bank. The fish he was catching, not really big boys, so just think.
Like perch.
Yeah, like this. Catch them, get them, pull them off, throw them back, whatever. And
Catch the
it's
same
coming out.
fish over and over.
Well, I mean, they're out there.
Fish has like
by
no
the bank.
lip.
I don't think you could put all the fish you got on the side for too long.
Well, what they didn't tell you, he was at a fish hatchery with a net.
Well, I saw a picture of it where it was. He's on the side of a bank at a resort.
How many?
And all right, he broke the record, 24-hour span. What do you get? Just take a guess, boys.
Well, let's see. If he caught one every
2 minutes.
15 seconds, then
That'd be pretty
maybe
good.
So 1 every 15 seconds is 4 a minute.
I'm going 1,000.
Oh no, it's way more than that.
More than that.
Well, let's be serious for a second. Let me do this. Let's just say that he can
Do it in
catch.
your head.
No,
Come
I
on.
can't do that. It's ought. Carry my ought. If he caught 1 every 15 seconds, 4 a minute times 60 minutes in an hour times
I love it.
24 hours in a day,
This is Peoria, Illinois.
5,760. I'm going to say that man caught 5,000 fish.
He was half that. The record, and this was almost 2 every minute, 110 an hour, 2,645. He broke the record.
That's a lot.
I was closer because I didn't go over.
Yeah,
Using the rules.
right.
Using the rules of the Price is
I like
Right.
the way you are.
1-0. And that was pretty good, though. I thought you'd like that one right there. A little fishing right there.
Nikki Vincent said hi.
Who's that?
Nikki Vincent said hi.
Nikki. Hi, Nikki. She's a singer. She can sing right there.
James Kerr says the Daily Double, things that leak from the seventh planet.
We were talking about Uranus leaking. That's not good.
No.
Planetary depends. I got a question for you, that football related.
Okay.
Could the NFL, with all its woes, and knowing that the season was being delayed, what the hell's the NFL doing with the Browns and the Bengals on a Thursday night? And I get it, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, they're not enough to pull in the
No.
casual football fan to watch
0-1 both teams.
2 loser teams that haven't done anything since Bernie Kosar and Boomer Esiason were their quarterbacks.
One good thing is
I don't think you're right. I don't think you're right. They were playing the Tigers. They're going to go Tigers. They're going to
One
play
good
that.
thing,
Go
boys,
Tigers.
there will be a winner tonight.
That's right.
One will have a win.
I think Joe
They'll
Burrow's
I don't
watch.
know either.
They're going to tie.
It's a tie. All right, boys,
Joe will
here it is for the weekend.
Or is it purely for the color shock uniforms?
That's what you get uniforms you don't see often.
That's true.
All right,
Here's
here
the
we go.
good
For
news.
Baltimore at Houston. Baltimore at Houston, -7.
Good news, the Texans, no COVID positives after their week 1 game against Kansas City, neither did
Right.
Kansas City. So
They
that's,
were ranked 16th in the power rankings. They lost. They went to 19th. Houston went down. I'm going to tell you about Dallas.
at
I
home.
look for Houston. to
Houston.
cover.
Houston.
-7.
Houston will win. Baltimore's a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, because they're the number 2 rated powerhouse team.
I'm going to take Houston to cover that spread.
I think Baltimore wins. The
Baltimore
game.
wins the game.
Baltimore wins the
Houston
game.
loses
We're gonna
24-21.
go Houston, so we'll go to the 7. All right. We didn't do bad last week. We just 1-1.
Now the Cowboys.
All right. Atlanta at Dallas. Dallas started at 5, down to 4. That means Atlanta's getting a little push right there. So Dallas -4 at Dallas.
Dallas wins.
Dallas is a 4-point favorite over
Yes, sir.
Atlanta.
I think they win by. I think Dallas wins by a touchdown.
I think Dallas wins and covers. Yeah, I do too.
All right, Dallas last week was ranked number 7 power ratings.
Were they like 20,
12.
12?
They went down to 12, so they're out of both teams are out of the top 10.
Power rankings it doesn't mean anything.
Look at it like
They
this.
keep losing, they're going down.
Deep thoughts by Brent. You can't go 8-8 if you don't win half of them. So I've got them beating Atlanta today.
I got them. Yeah, like 8-8. They better do better than 8-8 boys.
Oh,
Anyway,
9-7 tops.
that's it.
Hey, don't forget DPS blood drive today, 12:30 to 5:30. We posted that phone number
Love you,
yesterday. Got to make your appointment, so please, there's still some appointments available.
There you
Awesome.
go. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, folks.
Have a great day. We'll see you. No, we won't see you tomorrow.
We're gonna take
We're
tomorrow.
taking tomorrow off. I'll be here Monday with, I'll bring in some help. Don't worry. It'll be interesting, even without Ash.
I'll be gone for a couple days. But
Love you.
Then I'll be back.
Love you too, Ash. Bye.
Bye.
That's gonna be too much, and you're relieving.